Today, as you can tell by the title and everything, we're just gonna do a shotgun only challenge run, so to speak. It's definitely a challenge. It is only going to be on standard difficulty because I don't think it's actually possible on hardcore, otherwise I would at least give it a try. Given how you can barely manage to get through some of the big hurdles on standard without running completely out of ammo, I think hardcore is probably not going to work because all the bosses and enemies have more HP and there's less ammo to begin with, so I think it's probably not doable. But since it's shotgun only, that means we gotta play as Leon. We're gonna go with standard here. And we're just gonna go with first scenario. I could potentially do B, or second scenario at some point. I'm probably gonna go ahead and skip through cutscenes too, by the way. Yeah, we could potentially do second scenario. I haven't really attempted that one myself. I'm not sure how doable it's going to be, given that at the end of any challenge I've done, or any time I've done this challenge, which I've done actually twice, I've succeeded at twice off stream.
Something's not right.
By the end of the game, I have pretty much zero ammo, so I don't know how well that would work because I would probably run out of ammunition for the last boss, even if I was trying to be extra conservative for Tyrant and stuff like that. I think I would probably still not have quite enough. But the rules are pretty simple for this challenge. It's just as the title suggests. We're gonna unequip this. Okay, good, he's going that way. As the title suggests, it's just use the shotgun. Nothing else is allowed as far as weapons are concerned to deal damage to enemies and bosses with two small caveats, and I'll get into that in a minute. But this also includes defense weapons, so knives, grenades, flashbangs. Even though flashbangs don't do any damage, they're all off limits. So the shotgun is effectively the only tool you're allowed to use. Healing is still okay. If deaths happen, or if I have to reload because I screw up the first boss or something, which is usually kind of the biggest hurdle in this, then I'm just going to keep him in. I'm not going to do a full reset or anything. We'll just we'll go with it, but I might try and incorporate like a no death or something in the future if I keep trying to do stuff like this. I practiced this yesterday and succeeded, and I didn't have to reload at all. I didn't die once, didn't have to reset once, so it went pretty well. But that might not happen today. I might get bad RNG, or I might screw up a lot on the first boss. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Aside from that, the damage, weapon caveats thing I was talking about, we cannot complete 2 of the boss fights only using the shotgun. That being G2, you have to use the crane and the container to actually kill him, and I will probably end up using it twice, even though I've gone back and forth trying to decide whether or not that should be allowed, or if I should have to do it in one cycle. But I think it's going to be okay to allow 2 hits with the container, since otherwise I'm not sure it's going to even work, even if I use all of the available ammo I have otherwise. So, and then the second caveat is Super Tyrant. So the last boss fight for this scenario for Leon, he cannot be killed with anything other than the rocket launcher. So once we get the rocket launcher, we have to use it to kill him. But those are the 2 things that are allowed. Otherwise, the shotgun is the only thing we're allowed to use. So pretty self-explanatory for the most part. I don't think there's really anything else to cover. Since it is shotgun only instead of pistol only, that does mean that we won't have a weapon for a little bit here. You saw me, I just kind of went ahead and got rid of my pistol there in the item box. But that shouldn't be too much of a problem. honestly, even when we get the shotgun, we can't really use it until we get to the first boss. Because I really need to save every single shotgun shell. Like, it's really going to come down to that. Hey, Majama, how's it going? How you doing today? How was your weekend? Just thinking about this for a second. Yeah, ammo is that scarce for the shotgun that we kind of need to not use it even when we get it for the first while. So it's going to be a little bit of a challenge. But like I said, I've actually succeeded this before, at this before, so hopefully we'll be okay today. Pretty good. How was yours? Mine was pretty good. Ran a D&D game on Saturday. It was pretty nice, pretty chill. Just didn't really do much of anything on Sunday. Just had a day off, so it was a nice weekend. The only time you guys might see me pull out the pistol at all is right before the first boss fight. I might use it just to shoot at a wall. Since I'm not using it to damage anything, that is I would consider allowed, and the only reason I would do it would be if I feel it necessary to, if possible, manipulate difficulty adjustment at all, just to make that boss go hopefully as well as possible. Because if everything goes well, in theory we should end up with 26 shotgun shells by the time we get to the first boss, and I'm gonna need almost every single one of them, assuming if my shots are perfectly lined up. It should take a minimum of like 22. If I don't do that well, let that guy fall. If I don't do that well, which I kind of don't expect to, I could end up using all of them, and even if I do use all of them, there's a possibility if I screw up a number of too many shots, he just won't die because I'll run out of ammo before he dies. So if that happens, we'll just have to reload the checkpoint and try again. In the future, like I said, I might try a more hardcore variant of it where, you know, reloading checkpoints and deaths aren't allowed, in which case we'd have to reset, but I'm not going to do that today. Oops, I didn't mean to pick that up. We just want the item pouch in here and hope that the zombies outside as we come back are not going to be too mean to us. The shotgun is in the storage locker room, whatever you want to call it, the weapons locker room in there, but there's really nothing else we can do with that right now, so we can't even pick up the shotgun as it is until we get the key card anyway, so so as you can imagine, not having a weapon or a weapon we can use for the first whole section before the first boss of the game, and even scarcely, you know, sparingly using it after that, does add a fair bit of difficulty to the game when it comes to just overall avoidance. You know, that's pretty much all you can do, is generally just try to avoid enemies as best you can. That guy coming up there is probably going to end up being a problem. His positioning is not great. So I'm going to pick that up. I don't know if this is the best time to get these, but I'm going to go ahead and get all the shotgun shells that are in here. And I might as well pick up the portable safe, and then we'll keep moving and hope that this guy... He's still not in a good spot, but it looks like the cop zombie that was coming up went back down, so that's good. I need him to get off the stairs before I try to avoid his lunge. There we go. The reason I don't want to try to do it on the stairs is because when they're on stairs, they just kind of fall on you, and there's not much you can do to get out of the way. Also, it has a tendency to knock you down and take even longer to get away from it, so it's annoying, to say the least. gonna see me pick up a number of like these small gunpowder items. There's a handful I really don't need, but I don't remember exactly how many I do need to pick up, so I usually just kind of pick up a good handful of them as we come across them.
Leon, it's Marvin. I need you back here ASAP.
Are you okay, Marvin?
I've got something to show you.
Shit, she aggroed quick.
Copy that. I'll be right there.
I was hoping that if I kept walking she wouldn't aggro so fast, but we're just gonna have to go this way and try to get out of here a little quicker. I'm just trying to remember what the... I guess it doesn't matter, I have it here. Right, okay. She wants to come through here, which is not great, not bad. Could in some ways actually be a kind of a good thing, so there is kind of a way you can dodge around, dodge right by them as they're coming through a door. I'm not very good at it, so since there's enough space in there, I'm just going to lead her in a little bit and then come through. This game looks great. Yeah. Have you played, Resident Evil 2 Remake yourself at all? Alright, she's back in the room, that's fine. Just gonna walk and not look at that zombie so he doesn't wake up. It's pretty good. I played the original back when it came out in 1998. And it was, I mean, I was pretty young then, but it was a really big game for me. So when this one came out, just a few days before my birthday this year, I knew it was going to be pretty much a must-have, honestly. Everything they were showing about it pretty much convinced me that I was going to end up buying it anyway. You know, I was concerned initially that they might... you know, not make a great game, honestly, but I assumed it would probably end up being fine. Alright. Just making a quick detour over here to grab this other plank, or a set of boards, and then we need the weapons locker key right there so that we can actually pick up the shotgun. And we're going to come back before activating the helicopter crash and all that. We need to talk to Marvin, and I want to unlock the last door that the spade key unlocks so we can get rid of it. Still just going to skip that. We'll put in these first, actually.
Elliot was right.
Yeah, but the passage isn't open yet.
Alright, at this point I like to detour with these couple of wooden boards that I have and block up these first couple of windows. I don't think I would do this on like a hardcore S+ run because it's a bit of a time waste to do this extra bit of backtracking, but oh crap, of course she would be in the worst place. That happens every once in a while. Usually she's like at the other end, but do your lunch. There we go. Yeah, normally she's at like the other end and is not in such a crappy place, but now that she's on the other side of me, though, I kind of want to go this way, but I'm probably going to run into problems doing this, going this way too, so I guess we'll see. Yeah, now we can get the shotgun, and okay, that guy's not in the worst place. He is going to try and come in here while we're doing stuff, but that's alright. Alright, open this, or attempt to. That one was at least a decent pattern. Every once in a while you get one where it's just like really badly put together and it just takes a while to figure out. Alright, we want 208 for the extra shotgun shells. Yeah, I'm not going to be coming back for this hip pouch as much as I would like to have it. It's kind of an extra out of the way detour, so that one's just going to get left. And we don't need anything else in here other than the shotgun. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and load it, but then I'm going to unequip this guy so I'm not tempted to actually shoot it. Alright, this cop zombie is here. Unfortunately, the other one didn't follow him very closely. Bust down the door. He's gonna end up being in the worst place, I imagine. Alright. Let's hope we can get by him. Alright, we're good. That was close to being kind of bad RNG, but we managed. Let's see. Alright, we need to go do Claire now. It'd be easier to just go this way. Well, so far that's a little bit better than my practice run yesterday. I think those guys were in like really bad places. One of them came in and then as I was trying to leave because the other one wouldn't come in, he just grabbed me as soon as I went out the door. Alright, I usually leave that one there, that herb. Not for any particular reason, but I just do. I'm so used to doing it, so I pretty much just always do.
Marvin? I've got a situation here. I'm surrounded by zombies. Marvin, do you copy? Marvin! Damn it.
Just have to wait for him to finish talking, so we can open this up. Alright, hopefully that cop zombie's not in the worst place. Okay, he's not. He's usually just stays in the room, but every once in a while he can be right there to your right, so... which is pretty bad if that happens, obviously. There's a likely chance that we're going to take a fair bit of damage in this playthrough, trying to do this challenge, so we're going to be picking up pretty much every heal we come across, just not necessarily right away. Oh, I should have stashed something. Alright, we're going to have to get rid of one of these. It shouldn't be an issue, though. Oh, actually, I didn't need to get rid of that. I could have just combined it here. Whatever, still shouldn't be an issue. Alright, we'll make a quick detour here and stash those couple of items. Should leave us enough space for now, I think. Actually, let's just get rid of that guy too. Alright, when you come back through here now, a bunch of zombies will be coming through these windows. That female zombie that was here before will despawn. Unfortunately, this guy decided to be around the corner, but that's alright. We got our dodge in, okay, so that's fine. I prefer when he's not around the corner like that because it gives you a little bit more room to do your dodge, but not a problem. On standard difficulty, doing the performing those little dodges when they lunge at you is not too bad, unless your difficulty adjustment is really high. You're not in the most Favorable place, huh? I gotta think. We want to go up. Yeah, so I need you to do your thing. But they can do a double lunge instead of just one like that. And if they do, it can obviously be pretty bad. Alright, the cop zombie's gonna fall on the ground there, but I'm just gonna detour and stash that for the moment and run back out. At least she should fall. There she goes. I don't know where the other cop zombie went. Hopefully he's not right in the way. Seems like we're okay. I'm just gonna go through here and open this up, and then those guys won't be a problem for now. If at all, really. They shouldn't actually be a problem at all at this point. I don't think we need to go back in that hallway, since we're not picking up the Magnum rounds or anything. Alright, the liquor is up there on the ceiling. Since he gets stuck in that animation of eating that zombie, you can pretty much just run into here as long as you're quick about it without him attacking you. Just don't dawdle. Otherwise, just walk into the room and he won't notice you. I think. I'm not sure. He might actually automatically aggro otherwise, but I think if you walk, it's fine. Let's see. Shotgun shells here. We're just about to the max. There's supposed to be some sort of RNG as far as getting your shotgun shells is concerned. I don't think like any of the normal just pickups where they're already shells. I think they're always the same amount. And ones that you mix are supposed to have some bit of RNG, but I feel like I always end up with 26 shotgun shells. So either there isn't any RNG on them at all, or it's just on, like for shotgun shells at least, it may just be on the larger gunpowder mixes. Because on the small ones, when you mix a yellow and a small gunpowder together, you get supposedly 2 or 3, I think, shotgun shells. And for the larges, I think it's anywhere between 4 and 6 you can get. And that I'm pretty sure actually does have RNG, but I'm not 100% certain how it works. Alright, coming through here. I'm gonna activate the C4 over here, which would normally knock this shelf over, but if you run out and then come back in as the door is there, it will prevent the shelf from falling over, which is good, because then we can just get out of the room a little easier. Alright, this one is Coleman Bow Snake, I think. Of course, they're a little harder to see since they're all rusty, but that was indeed correct. Alright, so another liquor is about to spawn in this room, but usually you can get by him by just like lining yourself up here and you just run straight past him. Also, this zombie could get in our way, but he did not, so we're good. The only time, and I'm not sure that it'll happen there, but the only time that running by a liquor right to their side like that, since they turn a little slowly, the only time that that won't work is when they are, if they actually try to do their tongue attack. Which at least doesn't hurt typically quite as much. It would only really be a problem if you're about to die, or if you're doing like a no damage run or something like that. Alright, did we... I feel like I missed something here. We have 23 shells, I think, total, right? Yeah, okay. We should be alright, because I think there's 3 more in just down here. I believe the number is 3. Yeah, okay. So there's our 26. Alright, so this is the point where we're about to fight the first boss. I am going to take my pistol back out for that difficulty adjustment reason I was talking about before. And yeah, so yesterday I got pretty lucky with RNG and stuff for fighting him. I don't know how well it's going to go today. Hopefully I'll get him down in one try. I can't say for sure. If we don't, we'll just have to reload the checkpoint and do it again. And hopefully we won't get stuck here for a long time. There's a grenade down there that we can't pick up. But yeah, this guy is by far the... Just to explain really quick, this guy is by far the biggest hurdle of the entire challenge. Not that there aren't others that are difficult, but it's gonna take, like I said, like I think mathematically a minimum of 22 shotgun shells, and they all have to be perfectly shot. Meaning, you have to be in point blank range, and you have to hit him directly in his big eye on his right arm, or in his head, like on his face. Anywhere else has damage mitigation, so his big mutated arm takes like 50% damage reduction. His torso and left arm are like 70% or something, or like they take 70% of the damage, so it's not mitigated as much. But and then on top of that, the shotgun is actually a really bad weapon to use against this boss because its base damage is like 720 or something like that. In other words, like if there's 10 pellets or something that the game actually shoots from the shotgun, each one would do something like 72 points of damage. But in this case, you know, so all that would mean would just be that if you hit with each and every pellet, then it'll do a max of 720, and then mitigated by whatever his damage reduction is. And he only has 5,000 hit points, so it would seem like that would make things relatively easy. But on this boss in particular, and a couple of the other boss fights, the shotgun has reduced damage. So beyond the mitigation, the damage the shotgun does is only like 210 total if you're hitting with every pellet. So, you know, that's why you have to have such like precise aim. Alright, we'll leave it at that. Hopefully that's good enough. I don't even know that really will change my difficulty adjustment much really at all, but I like to shoot there just in case, make this fight as potentially easy as possible, because if it is adjusted higher, then, you know, potentially I might end up doing even less damage to him. I don't really know entirely how it works for this guy, so we're just gonna skip the rest of this. So I gotta be like really precise with my aim here, and I don't even think that shot was actually all that great, but... So what that means here is as he's chasing us around, I have to actually like be kind of baiting out certain attacks and shoot only at the right times. Grossly Incandescent, how's it going? Good to see ya. Thanks for coming to the stream. If we wait long enough here, he should just do his little transformation and get far more aggressive, but I'm also just trying to... Never mind. Alright. Not too bad so far. We're just going to be doing this a little bit slowly to try and ensure the best, hopefully the best shots we can do, since the shotgun is all we're allowed to use. Do your slam down. That's brilliant. So I gotta focus a little bit on where I'm running, but you'll see me every once in a while kind of turn and aim at them, and that's just to try to bait out attacks. Where I'm not like really aiming, I just do that little quick aim thing and stop. But again, I'm kind of looking for certain attacks from him. Oh, he's going back to his other phase. And because his eye isn't exposed during this phase, I don't usually like shooting him very much unless I get like a really good opportunity for a headshot. And he kind of just flails with the pipe when he's in his less aggressive, you know, transformation, so the timings are a little bit weird in terms of how he attacks. He can also swing like up to 4 times, I think, and it's hard to tell exactly how he's going to do it. So usually I try to just wait for a good opportunity. Yeah. And if I'm not confident about shooting right there, then I usually just won't, because the ammo is really just that precious in this. Alright, he's transforming again. Shot probably could have been better, but I think we're okay. That was a little close. Thankfully, if he does hit me with a swing, it's not the end of the world. It'll do some damage, but we brought some heals. Honestly, I probably should have brought more heals with me. The grab is more dangerous, but unlike his later forms, his grab is not like an instant kill if you don't have a defensive item to interrupt it, so... Okay, that's what we want to see.
No choice. Gotta take it down.
Yeah, he'll grab you and then do a bunch of damage, and then I can heal, but... I think I only brought like 2 heals with me, which was probably a little short-sighted, but hopefully we'll be okay. I wasn't really thinking about it. Normally, if this was a normal run, 2 heals would be kind of overkill, typically. You know, if I take damage, it's fine, but normally I just fight this guy with the pistol, honestly, because it doesn't have lower base damage. Its damage is lower than the shotgun still. It's only like 100 points of damage, unless you focus your aim, in which case it's like 150. But it's not like lowered like the shotgun is. Also, I don't have to get anywhere near as close to hit him with it, with all the projectiles, since, you know, it's only shooting out 1 bullet at a time instead of, you know, a number of pellets with a wide spread. There's that kind of third attack flail. Alright, he's transforming again. We'll try and get a shot here if we can. Immediately run. That was a weird one. He just kind of stopped. Whoop. Okay. That grab was a little close. There'll be times when it will look like his grab didn't hit you at all, and you'll suddenly be in the grab animation. Like, it just kind of vacuums you into it every once in a while. It's a little weird. That's not the attack I wanted. I thought he was doing the slam, but apparently not. That's the grab. The grab's not a bad one to get a shot on too, but he just recovers really quickly from it, so I usually don't. That's the one. Getting a little low on ammo, so hopefully we're doing okay. Hey, Rosara, how's it going? We're just doing, by far, the most tedious and potentially challenging part of this whole challenge. Yes, the challenging part of the challenge. That's good grammar. I'm not entirely sure if that was a great shot or not, but his health is definitely getting lower. You can tell as his eye gets more red. Oh, that was not a good shot, though. You can tell usually, like, if you're hitting the eye pretty well, that it'll kind of like be like a yellow colored pus type spatter or something coming from the eye instead of, you know, blood. As gross of a sentence as that is, that's what you want to look for. That was bad. I get greedy there and took a hit for it, so that's just how it goes. I'm gonna have to not heal. I don't want to waste a full heal if I can help it. We got 4 shots left. I don't know if we've managed it here or not. Nope, we did not. We're officially out of ammo and he's not dead, and I'm gonna guarantee you he is 1 or 2 shotgun shells away from death. So unfortunately that's just the way it goes sometimes. Which is a little odd to me because honestly I thought we did pretty good that time, but maybe it was just a little too slow. Oh right, I actually have to let him kill me. Because I didn't save my game before this, so the only way for me to reload the checkpoint I think is to die. At least I'm pretty sure. I should have done a save. Yeah, no. Go ahead. Kill me. Come on, guy. There we go. That's just the way it goes. Unfortunately, not as lucky this time around, but... Alright. We'll try it again. And this is what I mean, like, when, this challenge can be a little bit, annoying, and it's really just this part. Yesterday went pretty well when I was practicing. I got, I think I used every single shotgun shell, but he died on the very last one, so I was probably 1 or 2 shotgun shells away, but I had a couple of, like, not great shots in that fight. Alright. But that's all I mean, is like why the challenge is difficult. Otherwise, like if you had just a little bit more ammo, you wouldn't necessarily need to be quite as precise about it, but unfortunately this is how it goes. And the details, like, I've looked into in terms of the way his health works and his damage mitigation and everything, he has 5,000 hit points. So in theory, unless you can get like a critical hit in this, and I don't know if such a thing is actually possible on the boss. I know you can technically get crits on some other enemies, but I'm not sure how it works for the bosses. Because for zombies, like, there's specific, you know, interactions for critical attacks. They'll take, like, I don't know if they actually take increased damage per se, but, like, you know, they have destructible limbs, so like a limb will come off, I think, if it's a critical, or if you shoot them in the head with like a pistol and it crits, then their head just, you know, explodes basically. I also didn't wait quite as long doing this last time, so I hope that taking my time with some of these shots isn't what kind of led to my downfall there, especially if difficulty adjustment could scale up during the fight. I don't know. I don't like that attack very much. Do something else. The other thing is that his eye opens and closes, and you can still shoot it and see the yellow liquid coming out, and I don't know if that counts as, you know, and how much detail they put into it for when they were developing it, like if his eye being closed in that regard, even though you're seeing the yellow liquid when you shoot it, if that still counts as just a full shot in the eye, or if it's like mitigated somehow. Sorry if you hear my dogs upstairs. I'm being a little bit loud. Buddy. He does have a mechanic too, where if you don't stay very close to him and he gets away or too far away from you, he'll disappear. and you'll just kind of hear him sneaking around, and then he'll just suddenly jump out at you. Not that that's a big deal if it happens, but you generally, as long as you just stay kind of close to him, that shouldn't really happen at all. The other thing I had go differently for me yesterday is that for whatever reason I did this fight a little more quickly. You know, like I was saying earlier, I don't know if you take your time on this and don't get hit a bunch of times, if that would adjust your difficulty up higher and might cost you a little bit of damage or something. Okay, that just barely touched me. So I don't normally attack him after he does his grab because it just doesn't really... I usually end up getting hit if I do. Like, I'm probably not gonna get it this time either. I always feel weird about shooting him in his head because I feel like, as odd as it would seem, his head is just not a very big target, and I feel like I'm missing on some of the pellets. Like, I'm definitely hitting his face, but I feel like a number of the pellets end up missing, and I can never tell how much of it is actually hitting his head and taking 100% damage versus like, oh, these couple of pellets technically hit his torso, so they only did 70% of damage instead of 100%. It's kind of also why I decided to start with this challenge run, by the way. Like, I'll probably do other challenges of Resident Evil, but you know, as time goes on, but for this in particular, the weapon-only challenges are kind of, while they're not overly hard, it's more that they're kind of tedious. Pistol-only is actually easier than this, I feel, but especially since you just have more ammo in general, but you still got to be a little bit careful about how you spend it, but... Some of that hit his hand, that hit his arm. I feel like it's not going to work this time either. His eye is looking red, but we got 9 shells left, and he'll be in red for a little while before it's got the knee again. That was nice, good. He'll do that every once in a while, where he looks like he's phasing back to his less aggressive form, and then just kind of, I don't know if it's meant to be a trick or if it's a glitch where he just kind of starts transforming back, but then, oops, I got stuck on the terrain there. I probably should have gone for a shot there. Oh well. Do your slam. Got that. If you do manage to get grabbed, unfortunate as it may be, like, there's a good opportunity to shoot him as you come out of the grab. There we go. Alright. Well, I guess we did pretty good that time because I've got 3 shells left. That might be the best I've ever done. In terms of ammo, anyway. I'm pretty sure my first time... I've only accomplished this whole challenge twice. And I think the first time I had 1 shell left. The first time I actually got past him. And the second time, yesterday, I had 0 shells left because it took every single shell. But yeah, that went better than expected. So we took us 23 shells, one more than the minimum I was saying it probably would take, which is pretty good. Alright, we'll heal up once. We're not technically at full health, but that's fine. We'll get more heals as we go, and I'm still going to try to be relatively conservative with how much I use them, because honestly, saving them for as long as possible when it comes to these challenges is a good idea. Unless you're just doing a no damage challenge, in which case, you know, you don't need to pick up a single one. If you take damage, you just reset, or you get a PB or whatever. You know, it's funny because like my very first attempt at this, like this guy was a serious pain because I think I tried this fight on standard like 30 times before I got it, something like that. It was rough, and honestly I was starting to think that it just wasn't possible, but I had heard that at least somebody else out there had done this before and had actually accomplished it, and I was starting to think that, you know, somebody was just straight up full of shit. You know, because I was just like, I don't know, man, it doesn't seem like it wants to cooperate with me. Let me think here. I guess we can put those away for now. We are going to get more heals up ahead. Yeah. We'll go with this. So, I'm not going to keep like a counter or anything. Hopefully we don't die for the rest of the run. That'll be the only other real potential likelihood, is there won't be any, you know, forced death reloads, but in this case I guess that would count as a death since I forced myself to die anyway, rather than just calling it a reset or a checkpoint reload.
I'm not
but
done talking to you.
Same thing. You know, they're both, you know, kind of deaths in a way, so at least in that case it was actually a technical death. Alright, I always decap this zombie as soon as I have a shell available to do it. He won't be a problem until later, but when we're running out of here, we're likely going to get bitten once or twice, and, you know, later on, and he can end up being a third obstacle that we, when we're really trying to run and not get bitten, he can end up being a much bigger pain, so I usually just go ahead and spend one shell to deal with him, since he's not moving around or anything. It makes it easy. But now that we're past the first boss fight, a lot of it is going to be similar to RPD1. We're going to be playing very ammo conservatively and trying not to shoot much of anything. There'll be a couple of enemies we do have to shoot, or that, well, we don't have to, but I probably will. Just so that, you know, because I'll have to deal with them a couple of times otherwise, and they could cost me a hell of a lot of damage if I don't deal with them the first time, so. And that's the thing, is I'm gonna want, particularly for the end of the game, about as much healing as I can get my hands on, so. Alright, so for this section, you'd be dealing with dogs here, or yeah, you're gonna deal with the zombie dogs, aka Cerberus or Cerberi. But I think they just call them zombie dogs in this. I'm gonna make a quick detour into here so I can get the red herb that's in here. I skipped this the other day, and like I skipped this whole room. Normally you'd get the diamond key from here, and if I did, I'd have to deal with 1 or 2 zombies, but if I don't grab it, they won't wake up, so I can just ignore them. And I'm not getting the diamond key since I don't want that last hip pouch anyway, and stuff, the other things that the diamond key would lead to, so I shouldn't really need it at all. I'm missing out on, like, a red herb and a little bit of, like, ammo I can't use and stuff like that, but that's pretty much it. take that. I can mix those immediately into shells, but I'm going to hold off. It should be fine if I do, but usually at this point, since I'm not going to be spending shells really much for anything, I usually just wait until I start getting a number of these plus large gunpowders. Alright, now we're going to have a chase sequence. We didn't kill any of the dogs, so they're all going to be around. That's okay. I'm just going to do our best to not get hit. With hopefully relatively specific movement here. And if we take a hit or two, then we'll heal, and that'll be that. Did get bitten once and twice. We're gonna have to heal. Hopefully we won't get bitten again. Normally that dog is not right there as soon as you come out of the door. It can happen though, so. Alright, that's fine. My movement could have been a little bit better, but you know, I took the same amount of hits yesterday when I was practicing. Every once in a while I can get through there without getting bitten by any dogs, but it's a little inconsistent. Okay. With that, and let's see, that's just ammo for the pistol, and there's ammo for the Magnum. I was thinking there was another thing of gunpowder in here, but I think it's just the yellow, so that should be fine. I'm going to put one of these away and just keep these two in case I need to mix them. Alright, so for now, we're going to grab these shotgun shells so I don't forget. Oh, one more thing. We need these wooden boards out of here. I use them to cover up these couple of windows, which you don't have to do, as long as you're not, especially if you're not backtracking at all, but I usually just go ahead and use them here, because there's zombies that will break those down. Alright, these are the 3 enemies I was talking about before that we're going to want to kill. I just walk there to, if I can, only aggro this one so I don't have to deal with 2 at the same time. Especially if I don't aggro the other one at all, I can just sneak up on him. Alright, hopefully we don't miss. Okay, we got it. Every once in a while those guys will do like a little bit of a head bob juke at the last second and you'll just waste a shot entirely. Alright. Hopefully we can sneak up on you. Okay, that's good. This guy's too focused on eating to care, so we'll just take him down. As long as we can get that done without using more than 3 shells, I'm pretty happy. Zombie Elliot is here now. We're just going to try and get around him as best we can and hopefully not get grabbed. Okay, we're good. There's that guy there. Usually I would just continue to leave that there, but I'm going to pick it up and heal back to full. Alright, that'll use up the crank. We don't need it anymore. We can just go ahead and discard that. I want to go downstairs, but before I do, I'm going to grab this set of boards up here as well. So there's one more window down here that can be broken, which, again, I can just run by as the zombie's breaking through. It's not so much that I'm worried about getting grabbed down here, but if he roams and ends up coming upstairs, he could be a problem for me later, so I usually just like to go ahead and board this guy off before he can get in. But also down here is more yellow gunpowder, so we want that. Since we need it to make shotgun shells. up we go. There's a couple of dangerous zombies in this next room over here that I'm going to leave alive. I'm just going to walk in to begin with. They shouldn't be aggroed yet. But, you know, I'm going to end up having to come through here again later. As soon as I grab those, that guy's going to aggro. Just going to grab the gear, and then we're going to run around here and get out of here. There's 2 zombies in this room. I will likely have to deal with them later, but these are one of the ones where I would prefer to deal with these 2 zombies rather than kill them if it comes to it, instead of wasting any more shells. If I get bitten once or whatever, that's fine. If I get bitten twice, that's definitely not fine, but it is what it is at that point. And every once in a while, the RNG will be nice to you anyway, so you won't necessarily get bitten there. Alright, gonna mix those. We gotta put out the fire in the helicopter, so we gotta make a little detour down here and divert the water up to that pipe so that we can do that in the first place. And there's another 2 zombies here that, again, I might get bitten by, but I don't want to use shells on if I can avoid it. I'm just going to attempt to get by them as best we can and hope to not get bitten. Alright, that gets us in. Now we gotta actually get back out again. And they will be trying to break. They will be trying to break in, so don't be fooled. I think that should be okay. I mean, I'm gonna put these away and hope to not need them. I shouldn't really need to shoot anything for a little while, so. And I've got some ammo on me if I do. Alright, somebody's coming through. Do your lunge. You're not doing your lunge. Okay. Just gonna have to take a bite there. Hopefully we don't get bit by the other guy too. Where'd he go? Oh, he's in all the way over at the stairs, huh? That was a little close. Alright, our difficulty adjustment is low enough right now that instead of getting bit and taken to caution, it only took us to the different shade of green. Fine, so that means we're not at 100% health, but we're not super low. Alright, now we gotta deal with Mr. X. You can usually just kind of bait out his punch here and then dodge, but just to play it safe, I'm gonna drag him all the way back out here and just loop around instead. Just because I suck at doing that dodge. Alright. Just take the long way. When he gets close to you, he doesn't really walk very fast, so you can just, you know, run around. He moves a little bit more speedy on hardcore, but you can still do the same thing. Here we have the club key, so we need to go get the jack for the library so that we can get to the clock tower where we need to use the gear. A lot of zombies in that room. Alright, so we're gonna come through this way. There is a liquor in this hallway, so normally they would want you to walk in order to not aggro it, but if you come to there and run and then leave, he cannot follow you through rooms, so that should cause him to de-aggro, and when you do that, he should go down to the other, like, a different hallway. So he's not completely despawned, but he's not anywhere right now where he can be a problem. That being said, we still need to move quickly. Pick up this, because Mr. X is going to be on our tail any moment. Or potentially in front of us, more accurately. Okay, we should be safe to run, in theory, since we did what we did with that liquor. Looks like we got pretty lucky on RNG and Mr. X wasn't like right here. He's not going to be too far away. He does teleport around when he's off screen. They put him in nearby locations looking for you. Alright, we're going to have a number of zombies in here that we left alive still, so we're going to have to deal with that yet. And it looks like the one is in a really bad place. Oh no, I guess not. I don't know where the hell she is. I didn't see her. Maybe she was up the stairs. She does that sometimes. That's actually good if so. Alright, this guy is going to get up as we slide these, I think. Maybe not. Either way, we're gone, so this room was nice. Nicer than usual. Yeah, she's over there on the stairwell. Alright, now we can actually get across this gap. No Mr. X in sight at the moment, which is pretty lucky, actually. We got one zombie here. We might get bitten on our way through. We did not. Okay. Great. Good so far. Decent, I should say. Taking a bit of damage I wish I hadn't in a couple of spots, but it's not really much worse than, or really any worse than yesterday. I just got damaged in other spots instead, so. Alright, detour back here so we can get our first large gunpowder of the game. Most of the large gunpowders are really in the late game. I should have kept a yellow gunpowder so I could mix that, but oh well, I'll get back to an item box soon enough. I don't think it's going to be an issue for inventory space, at least I hope not. And again, I probably have more of the small gunpowders than I need, so if I gotta discard one to make room or something, I don't think it's going to be the end of the world. Alright, we need the small gear, and then we put the large gear back in here, and we take the small gear downstairs. This whole little side quest that we're doing, or it's not really a side quest, but the task we're doing is getting these 2 orange boxes with electrical parts in them, which we need to turn the power back on in the jail area so that we can open the cell to Ben's cell and get the garage parking lot key card so we can actually leave the police station with it. Alright. Using that activates the bell for the bell tower and knocks this down so we can grab it. We're all good there. Now we just gotta watch out for Mr. X and the zombies out here. He's in a not great place. This is one of those instances where I almost wish Mr. X was in here, because sometimes he'll just kind of shove zombies to the side for you. Trying to think here. We want, since we don't, Mr. X isn't here, we don't necessarily have to go across and deal with those other zombies like I normally would, so I think we'll go this way, actually. Kind of be, oh shit, of course he's right there. And now we're stuck in a corner. That's pretty bad, but okay, we're not stuck. We're gonna fall through this. Since we didn't trigger it earlier, we should, in theory, be able to get by before this guy's up fully. Maybe not totally. There we go. Alright, that was a little closer than it needed to be. Yeah, we have what we need now to get down. Oh, I forgot that guy could break out into here. I feel like, I'm not sure if he can unless you're standing by the door at first. Maybe by this point in the game they can just do it. Alright, we wanted this so we could mix it. I am wounded. Unfortunately, I took another hit there that I really didn't want to. So, I'm gonna go ahead and just use this, and we'll mix these just to make the space. I don't think we need the club key, right? Stash it? I think so. Alright, back to the jail. The next little gauntlet of zombies that we have to avoid getting bitten by. Aside from that one little moment of the door, which honestly I wouldn't have allowed to happen there if, and wouldn't have happened if I actually heard him coming. He just sort of ended up right there on the other side of the door. I didn't hear his footsteps at all. But it's cool. Alright, I maybe should have brought one extra heal with me, but I don't think it'll be an issue. At least I hope not. Because there's dogs in here still. And also not good positions. And we got dogs in here in the same fashion. I'm running in a slightly serpentine pattern, which is probably not going to help much, but man, they're all in just about the worst places they could be. Actually, I got pretty bad RNG here. But we managed to get through the door without getting bitten, so I guess it works. And now the dogs are all just going to despawn as soon as we do all this, so we don't have to worry about them anymore. I often kind of don't pay too much attention to these solutions. Okay, good. I think we did. I wonder if we did that in the least amount of movements. I didn't see the achievement, so I'm not sure if I either already got it or if I needed to do like one less movement or something. Alright, skip this. We got our parking permit thing, now we gotta deal with this clusterfuck.
What are they? That's not good.
As now that the power is back on, all these zombies in these cells are gonna come out. We're gonna come over here, Mr. X is gonna be there, so
Give me a
I
break.
usually just come over to here and try to lure him around, do the same kind of loop strategy that I did before. There we go. Take a nice wide angle. Normally you would just use a flashbang or something to get through this spot here. I'm probably gonna get bitten. I may get bitten twice, or like double tackle. That has happened every time. It doesn't always happen. Hopefully I don't get smacked on my way or bitten. Okay, there we go. And that's also why I killed that zombie right there, because otherwise he'd be grabbing me on my way out too. We're good. Alright, we're just gonna skip this. I'm gonna go ahead and it's a bit of a waste, but I'm gonna use this full heal here. There's gonna be a green herb, but like at this point I've used a number of green herbs that I kind of want to use to mix into full heals with red and blue. I mean, it's a full heal with just red, but with blue you also get the poison clear / poison resistance / damage reduction from red and blue, so I like having that combo. It's more valuable than a first aid spray technically.
Is that the intel you needed?
Unfortunately, no. Ben didn't come through.
Well, what exactly
Alright,
are you looking
well,
for?
we're at
More info on the people responsible for this mess.
a decent point here so far.
Roads out.
We're finally gonna get our first upgrade to the shotgun, which is a very much needed upgrade. We no longer have to get super close to actually decap zombies, because we're gonna get the long barrel. On top of that, it causes our shotgun to hold twice as many shells in it, so
What a mess.
it is a significantly nice upgrade. It does take up an extra inventory slot, but now instead of 4 shells, it holds 8. And, which also technically means we got 4 shells for free.
Hurt you. I said.
Alright, before we go any further, we're closing in on about the halfway point. I'm going to take a very quick break, use the restroom, grab some water and some coffee, and then I will be back and we will resume. So I need about maybe 5 minutes at most, but until then I'm just gonna put the BRB screen up. I can get everything over here. There we are. Alright, yeah, so I'm just gonna leave it there and I will see you guys in a few minutes. And I'm back. Let's get back into it here. Alright, should be good. So let's continue.
Heard of the
Moving
Umbrella
on with
Corporation?
this shotgun only
Pharmaceutical company secretly makes
nonsense.
They have a virus.
I don't know how long this
Indestructible monsters.
this run will actually
That
take.
explains the horrible things I've seen.
I guess we'll find out. Usually it's anywhere from, I don't know, roughly 2 hours or so, I guess. Sometimes a little less, which would be good for like an actual hardcore S plus pace, but we're not on hardcore.
Gee, thanks.
If we were, like I said, I'm pretty sure we wouldn't be able to even make it past the first boss. I have to test it at some point, but like I can say with a fair amount of certainty that it's not possible, because you're supposed to get less ammo on hardcore, and even if you get the same amount of shotgun shells, like if those aren't reduced, and it's mostly just pistol ammo in RPD1, the boss will have more than 5,000 hit points, I'm pretty sure. So, I don't know how much more. It's either he has damage mitigation, like more, I'm not sure how it works. But I'm pretty sure the bosses have more HP on higher difficulties, just like the enemies do.
It's not too late to turn back.
In which case, you know,
No chance.
I'm pretty sure I just, you know, even with all 26 shells, I won't have enough to kill him. Alright, let's get through the sewer gator part here.
Holy shit!
Obviously, I do have to, for those familiar, I do have to unfortunately waste a shotgun shell to kill this guy. At least it's only one. Although, thankfully, you know, you would have at least 4 when you came here, since you would have just gotten the shotgun upgrade. You gotta use it there to blow up the gas. I'm not sure what happens if you just sit around and wait. Either he gets past it and you die, or it just sits there indefinitely until you blow it up. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure you can't just wait it out, because otherwise I think you would be able to do that on knife only, and as far as I'm aware, people use that as one of the caveats. If you're doing knife only, you need to pull out a gun in order to blow that up. So, similar to using the crane for G2 and the rocket launcher for Tyrant, that would be one of those exceptions for the run,
Can't say I didn't
of
warn you.
not otherwise following the rules to the T.
turned people into monsters, not reptiles.
Fair point. I'm just impressed you made it in one piece.
Alright. Just gotta wait here for Ada to, as slow as she is, get into the elevator, and then we can write it down.
So let me get this straight. Umbrella sells monsters like that to who? Our military? Somebody else's?
They don't sell the monsters. They sell the viruses that make them. And Annette is who makes the viruses. Scary as that alligator was, Annette is far more dangerous.
Alright, now we're about to have the Ada section here. She obviously does not have a shotgun, so that means we cannot use any weapons. I feel like on pistol only, even though you might argue that, like, that might mean Leon's pistol only and not Ada's. I think it's allowable to let Ada use her gun on if you're doing pistol only. You know, obviously, technically speaking, you know, the Magnum is a pistol, so if you were saying pistol only, then would Magnum be allowed? I think, you know, while that could be technically true, I think most people know that when you're saying pistol only, they mean, you know, the starting pistol. Upgrades are allowed, of course. Or if it's B scenario or second scenario, you know, then maybe the 45 pistol, since that's meant to be kind of your main pistol for the run. You know, that would be allowed, but otherwise, I think if you just say, like, you know, if it has to be only Leon's pistol and Ada's isn't allowed, then you would just say, like, maybe Matilda only, since that's the name of the pistol. Or in Claire's case, SLS-60 only, but in that case, her normal pistol also becomes a Magnum, sort of, so that one would have, like, slightly weird rules, potentially. Alright, let's see if we can get the one slick super spy here again. Doesn't matter if you take damage, but you need to not pick up anything, not shoot anybody. At least I don't think it matters if you take damage, but the real challenge, in my opinion, is getting through here without using anything but your scanner and not taking damage.
Always been good at running.
Which it looks like we're going to be fine to do, unless I somehow mess this up. Mr. X is chasing us, but he's really far away, so he's not going to be able to do anything. And we're good. It's really hard to do the one slick super spy achievement, which I already got yesterday, but it's harder to do it on hardcore because the zombies are more aggressive and, you know, they also tend to do the double lunge, like I said, so getting by them without picking up any ammo or flashbang or shooting any zombies is that's a little more difficult, especially since Ada receives no healing items whatsoever throughout this section. Obviously she can take a couple of hits, but you just can't do anything to heal that damage.
Gonna burn me alive now.
You'll never get your filthy hands on the G.
I'm not the only one after it. You realize that?
And you won't die alone.
This is pretty easy.
She's doing?
You know, you just gotta know where all the different, you know, things in the wall. You gotta actually use your scanner thing. What is this actually called? EMF visualizer, not scanner. You can use it to manipulate those, and normally you would just hold the button while aiming, but if you repeatedly tap it, you know, the R2 or right trigger, which would normally be your shoot button, then it actually causes those to go faster. So it's better to continuously tap it repeatedly rather than just hold it down. I mean, it'll still go, you know, plenty fast if you're holding it down too, but okay. Really quick. I shouldn't need it in theory, but I'm gonna grab one extra blue herb for safety here in case I happen to get grabbed a couple of times. I don't know if just using the blue herb by itself makes you resistant to being poisoned, or if it has to be mixed with a red herb for that. Something over there again, okay. But obviously it'll clear poison by itself. You don't have to mix it for that. Now we're gonna run over here and grab these shotgun shells. Very necessary. And then up here, I do a little bit of a weird strategy because I'll try my best to explain it here in a minute, but there's one zombie that is probably aggroed onto us, or slightly aggroed onto us now. He should have moved into a slightly closer position. Over here, yeah, here he comes. Instead of killing him, I'm going to, or just, you know, going by him, I'm actually going to lure him down into the waterway we were just in. By doing so, as long as I do it right and, you know, relatively quickly, in theory he won't really come back up, and he'll be out of our way for the future. Alright, so he's gonna fall, just make sure he doesn't fall onto you. And we're gonna run back up here quickly so that he doesn't come back up really fast. Alright, so there are, in this corridor, there are 3 zombies, not including the guy we just lured down, so 4 if we include him. When we come back, there's 3 locked doors in here. One we will come up through behind, and just, it's on my left there, when we revisit this area, and then there's a key that opens the 2 other doors. The one immediately to my right I'm going to ignore, but the one way at the end of the hall, there is the one we want to end up going into. If we go into that door, there's going to be both a yellow gunpowder, since we're on standard difficulty, and a large gunpowder, which will give us anywhere between 4 and 6 shotgun shells. Now, if I go and I killed all 4 or possibly 5 of these guys, since there's 4 in here now, and when we come up through that other door like I was talking about, there will actually be another zombie in that room. If we kill all 5 of them and then go and get, you know, just we're coming through here just to get those powders to mix into shotgun shells, then we're potentially, it's not going to be worth it, because even if we get 5 shells, we've spent 5 just to get there, so it's just a waste of time. If we get 6, you know, with the good RNG, assuming that's the way it works, then yeah, we net 1 shotgun shell. Is that worth it? Hard to say. But this is why I do this little bit of a weird strategy. I lure that guy down there so that, in theory, if, you know, it's worked a few times, when we come back here, he shouldn't then be here, so he won't be in our way. That means we've kind of eliminated our need to have to kill him. The other 3 zombies in here, only one of them is currently awake. The other 2, there's one right there, and there's one sitting over there. I'm gonna kill one of them, not this one, because he's the furthest away from where we come back in. I'm gonna kill the one that's sitting, because he'll be right about around the corner when we come back. And then I'm going to kill the one at the end of the hall. I could just ignore all of them, but then if I do that and then come back through here, it's just going to be flooded with zombies, which again, I don't want to use too many health items. So if I sacrifice instead killing just this guy and this guy over here, then I've only spent 2 shells. Ideally, I would like to do it without spending any, but... And then when I come back through here later to get those gunpowders to mix, you know, I should get a minimum of 4, you know, so I will have gained 2, hopefully, at least, you know. Or I could get as many as 6, gain 4 shells. It's pretty worthwhile at that point. But that does mean that those other 2 zombies I was just talking about, the one I didn't kill and then the one behind the locked door that will be coming through, those guys I'm going to end up just trying to avoid. If I get bitten once, hopefully only once, that's not the end of the world. It's really more of a an ammo management and health management game at this point, more than it is any other specific challenge. Right, there's another yellow gunpowder we need. Alright, here's the G mutants. These guys are a pain. This one in particular tends to block this hall. You would just use like a pistol round to wake him up out of the water and then maybe try to run past. You can try to bait him to do his quick stand up and then he'll try to grab instantly. If you don't get staggered by it, you can usually run away from it in time and then maybe run past. I usually mess it up if I get grabbed. That's why I have the blue herbs and stuff. We're just gonna give it a try. Alright, a little too far away still. Still a little too far away. And then that time it did the same thing it did to me yesterday, which was that even though I hit the button to immediately turn around, I continued going to the left for no reason. Right, so as soon as it lets me here, I'm going to go into my inventory, use this, and I'm going to run by him. We only took a little bit of damage, and by clearing the poison immediately, we won't take more damage, as well as also the fact that when you're poisoned, you kind of just limp around really slowly. That guy, when you're close to him like that, will just keep spamming grab, but you have like a small window to clear your poison and get past him, as long as he's not like right in the middle of the hallway, because then he might block your way. But that's okay. Having to use 1 blue herb versus any shotgun, like a ton of shotgun shells to kill him, is a much better trade, even if I did take a little bit of damage in the process.
I'm coming, Ada.
Alright. So we have the chess piece power plug puzzle. I'm just gonna prearrange a couple of them just to save myself time later. And I'm not really gonna bother explaining too much what I do. It's just gonna be, for A scenario, it's knight, rook, bishop, pawn, which just stays there, queen, king. That's the order. But we gotta go get those other plugs, the rook, the queen, and the king. So that is our current objective, so that we can get through that door. And right over there is a safe with our final shotgun upgrade, which we're gonna go ahead and get. We definitely want it. It's not as essential per se as the long barrel, but it is still pretty essential. It increases your rate of fire by a lot, which is definitely worth it for shotgun only, so I would say it's still pretty essential. Anyway, so yeah, we need the T-bar handle to open a few of the doors. And over here on this safe, you can remember the safe combo if you want, but it's literally written right on the side, 212-8, and there's a document over where I just was by the T-bar handle that just tells you that it's on the side in the first place, so this one's kind of just given to you. Go ahead and combine that. It doesn't actually make it take up any more space. Nothing, as far as I'm aware, nothing can take up more than 2 spaces at once. Alright, I did decide last time to kill these 2 zombies, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that again, I think. Because they're not easy to get by otherwise. Of course, the other one's being uncooperative. But you can see I don't need to be quite in like point blank range to actually get the headshot. Alright, I had to run back there because if he had gotten close to me and fallen, then I wouldn't have been able to do anything about it. Alright. I think I'll hold off. I want to heal, but I'm gonna wait. So this zombie as well will come up, but I'm gonna opt to not kill that one by decapping him here right now and just try to avoid him later. Hopefully that'll work out. He won't come up until we've completed getting the king and queen plugs from all the way down that area. So he'll just stay laying down there until we accomplish that task. So we don't need to worry about him right now anyway, but okay, so yeah, now we want to go this way. There's a grenade over that way on the side that we're not going to pick up, obviously, but nice to point out, I suppose. Kind of wish I could have it. Grenades are really useful in this game. So there's going to be another G-mutant that just pops out of the pipe. There you can see his arm. He just drops down in the water. As long as you run into run in a relatively straight line, you can just go right by him. We will have to deal with him potentially on our way back, but hopefully we can get the normal kind of AI exploit to just get past him. Every once in a while he'll be in a really bad place, so let's hope we get lucky. More essential shotgun shells right there. As we come up this elevator, we're now on the other side of the room, the locked door that I said I would be coming out from behind. Here is that zombie I was just talking about, and a hit pouch, which we definitely want. I'm gonna leave him alive, foolish as it may be. And since we killed the other 2 at the end of that hall, there's this guy hanging there. He's going to come down. Hopefully the one we lured down to the water will stay down there. It looks like he's going to. He's going to immediately come left and unlock this door. Oops. Mix those. Run back. He's already standing. Oh, that guy came out of the door right away, which is maybe not so great. And now they're both in terrible places, honestly, and I can't see. Oh, okay, we actually got really lucky there on his little spin, so it's better than last time. Last time that guy just stood in here and then he wouldn't bash the door down until I got like right in front of it, and I just stood there waiting for him for a while. We need this guy to do his head jiggle, so he'll go under the water, then we come this way, hopefully. Okay, good. As long as he comes back up behind us and not in front of us, it's fine, and that other one just sits at the other end of the hall being weird. I should have enough space in theory here for everything that I'm gonna pick up down there, but just to be on the safe side, I didn't do this last time, but I'm just gonna make a quick detour over here and put the T-bar handle and the key away because I didn't use them their maximum time, so I can't just discard them, but I don't need them anymore, so I want to stash them. Just to give myself plenty of inventory space and not have to have that stuff in my way. Alright, I probably should have stashed this as well, but that's okay. We honestly probably didn't even need those 2 spaces we just cleared up, but whatever. Inventory management is part of the game. Ooh, you know what? 1 second. Just need to check something here. Okay. I think we're good. Sorry about that. Moving on. Now we're gonna go down in that disgusting area where there's an additional 3 G mutants, technically 4 actually, but one's just on our way back, and that one's actually the easy one to avoid, but this part's a little bit annoying. I got pretty lucky with it yesterday, but we'll see how it goes today.
Oh my god, what the hell was that?
Again, if this guy grabs me, hopefully I can just use my blue herb here to, you know, get by as necessary. That time that worked, but you know, he's body blocking me, so I can't really get by. I probably should have tried going on the left, but the thing is, his grab he'll like spin kind of as he does it, so he can still kind of get you even if you're on the side. Alright, use this, continue, we're gonna use one of these. Oh shit, did I? Oh fuck, I just ran backwards like an idiot. Not sure what I was doing there. Alright, we got lucky anyway, even... I did not end up paying too badly for my mistake there. Okay, we got past that guy. This guy's coming through the pipe. We can just squeeze by this way again. Alright, that ended up, for the way over here, not being any worse technically than last time, but I got turned around by mistake there. I couldn't quite tell because of the way the camera moved. But thankfully we were able to get by him without trouble. Alright, yeah, I'm going to continue to not mix these for the moment, just in case I need to just use a blue herb or something. Right, here's the queen plug. I'm going to take that, we're going to pick up this blue herb here, put the queen plug in on this plug-in. The zombie on the railing there is going to fall as we come up, but that's okay, as long as we're quick about it. I don't think he'll be a problem. Not that quick. Now we grab the king. He's getting up, but it shouldn't be an issue. As long as you grab that stuff quick, he'll be trapped behind there. Normally you'd want to go through there so you could use the king plug on the other side of that wall and get the flamethrower, but well, it's shotgun only, so no flamethrower for us. Unfortunately, because it's a really nice weapon. Alright, I'm just gonna plug those in the way we just did, loop around the way we're doing it here to retrieve them. And back up the stairs and across we go with all the plugs. Alright, now we have to get back through all of that mess over here. Let's see if we get good or bad RNG. Alright, this guy's not in the worst place he could be, but... do your head jiggle, please. Okay. Alright, he was a little weirdly... doing it slightly weirdly, so I was a little confused. He could potentially spawn in front of us. Hopefully he doesn't. I think we're okay. Yeah, we're good. Oh. He spawned right behind me, though. I did get staggered momentarily, but it looks like we're alright. Alright, now here's that last one. The fourth one's going to pop up as we get to this point. I just usually like to spin around really quick, and we just run by him like this. As he comes back out of the water there, instead of staggering you, it doesn't, so... Alright, we're good. We made it through that little nightmare area. That's definitely one of the more potentially stressful parts of the game, but it's not too bad here. Alright, so that zombie I was pointing out earlier, he's going to be awake now and right around this corner, ready to grab, so I'm going to try to lure him if I can. There we go. I think last time he did a double lunge, so I got grabbed anyway, but made it by him okay this time. There is one more blue herb over there, but there's also a zombie that will wake up as soon as I try to grab it, so, and I don't really want to waste a shotgun shell on him, so we're just going to ignore it for now. He does despawn later, so if I remember to, I can technically go grab it. Alright, we can mix these now. Take this blue herb here. I'm gonna, let's see, put that there. In theory, I won't need too many heals. I'm gonna take just one extra, like, raw green herb. I'm gonna get one more of these full heals as we go in there. And hopefully that's gonna be enough. I'm gonna take, I don't want to mix these right now, but I'm gonna take these with me just to give myself the extra ammo. It's only gonna be like 2 or 3 shells, but I'll take it with me in case I need to mix more on the fly. I don't intend to use all of my shotgun shells fighting this guy, but I'm gonna use as many as I have to use. Alright, this is the second part of the game where, challenge run or no, this is one of the easiest places to die, just due to unfortunate mistake of your position or his position. As the crane comes swinging back around, it can easily hit you and you just die instantly. Oops, not that one. And then you know, also because, you know, in the case of this challenge, because I have no defensive items, if he gets me in his grab, I'm just dead, because I won't have any way to interrupt it. Let's do this. I think it's 1, 2, 4. Yeah. I feel like the 2 and 3 are on one of the second scenario solutions, but I honestly don't remember. I'm just gonna follow this line. We broke through. I always forget where is the actual safe place to stand. I'm gonna try right here. Hopefully I won't get hit. I feel like it kind of differs between Leon and Claire, where you can actually stand without getting smacked, and it also depends on how he swings his arm. He's really close to hitting me, and I feel like I should really try not to move at all. I might still get smacked. If he does a weird animation or something. We got like 1 or 2 more that he's got to do, and then he's going to jump down and break through the door. Here it comes. Alright. Alright, I usually just aim at him really quick right there. That should bait him into doing an attack. Oh, it did not. I did it a little too quickly. It's just gonna have to be okay. As long as you don't get hit coming down. Alright, we're fine. It's not gonna be the best for positioning here, but that's fine. Do his jump. Okay, I need you to come this way, big guy, because you're a little close to the machine.
Got you.
Hopefully you're gonna get hit okay here and not get up too fast. I think that's 1. Now we gotta do it one more time yet. I'm not quite sure how I got through that. I ran in the wrong direction there. Just run to the side when he does the jump attack. Okay, that's a good position. You should, in theory, be okay. I'm gonna just heal once. Hopefully this will do it. Not sure. I really don't want to waste any more shells on him if I don't have to. Okay, we're good. Alright, that was actually a really good fight. That went really smoothly. Even my practice run went like way messier than that, but no deaths at least. I feel a little cheap using the container as much as I do, but I don't have enough. I'm not sure if I have enough shotgun shells to one cycle him. And if I do, I don't think I'll have enough for the rest of the game. That's why I feel like it's maybe, since you have to kill him with the container anyway, I feel like maybe that's okay, but I'm not sure. It's not like there's like an official rule on this or anything. It's just, it's a caveat that I think is alright. You're not, you know, it's still a challenge because you're not using any other tools. You're not using flashbangs, you know, or any other weapons for that fight. The flamethrower does a ton of damage to him. It's a great weapon. It makes the fight super easy. I mean, you could still screw it up, obviously, but, alright, let me stash this and this. These. I guess, yeah, stash that. Since I'm thinking about it, I will go grab that blue herb I was talking about, because when you come back out here now, that zombie despawns. He's not laying there anymore, so I should be able to just freely grab that herb. I don't think I need it, but it's potentially one more, not just full heal mixture, but full heal with damage reduction, as long as I've got the appropriate green and reds to go with it.
Let me carry you.
What are we at on time? An hour and a half. Not bad pace. A little slow on a couple of things, but... Alright, but yeah, we're closing in on the end here. There's a few more, like, potentially really challenging bits, but I don't think we're gonna have too much trouble. Okay. You'll see me occasionally aim when I'm running up or down stairs like that. There, it's just called stair skating. Speedrunners use it all the time. I don't know exactly what the proper timing for using it is, and I often forget to do it at all. This isn't a speedrun anyway, so it doesn't really matter that much, but how many rounds did you have left after the boss? I didn't use that many, because I actually did pretty good. Last time when I fought him during practice, I was getting way too close to him to shoot for some reason. Because I wasn't thinking about having the fact that I had an upgraded shotgun. So right now I have 21, and I think I started with like 27. So I think I used 6, unless I had more on there that I forgot about.
Enjoy your visit.
Ideally, we want to have as many shotgun shells as possible when we get to G3. Usually when I get there, I have somewhere between, let's say, 45 and 55. The one guy I heard about completing this and saw part of his video, he somehow had like 72 shells at the end. Again, not calling bullshit, I'm just expecting that that means that he literally used the shotgun like not at all on anything other than the bosses that he had to use it on. Like, but that would mean like he might not have even used it at all for the G2 fight there, in which case that would actually make that fight harder. But, and potentially had good RNG as well, but, okay. Once again, should have kept a yellow gunpowder there to mix that. Alright, there's one zombie. That's always like, yeah, he's often not in a great place. Come on, do your lunge, so I can do your lunge. Thank you. Okay. He was taking a while to do it there, trying to trip me up. Sometimes that zombie is like literally right on the other side of the door as soon as it opens, so you gotta watch out. He's usually around a corner, sometimes even just facing a wall, but let's see, there's not anything else in here, right? That's just the flamethrower regulator, so we don't need that. Alright, and I think if I stay away from that door, he shouldn't be able to come back out, but if we come back here for the last hit pouch, which I am gonna do, there will usually be a zombie in that hallway, and if I get too close to the door, he might be there as well, potentially, so we're gonna have to be a little careful.
Your presence is
Okay, I shouldn't at the moment need to carry this blue herb. Then again, I don't need to stop there to put it away, so let's just move on. I'll just mix whatever I've got left at the end. So in the nest, we have a few hurdles, things that slow down the game, particularly the liquor section, because I can't really fight them. I could fight them with my shotgun, but it's just a giant waste of ammo, and it's also a fair likelihood that I'll take a bunch of damage or even die trying to do it, since there's two of them in one hole. So that part I have to try to do the best I can to just sneak around them, and I may have to manipulate it a little bit by leaving and entering the room a few times. So that part gets a little slow, but otherwise it's just getting around all the ivies without letting them grab me, because if they grab me it's an instant kill since I have no defense items. So, and because of that, there's no point really even carrying much in the way of healing items, but I will at least keep the one. Alright. Let's see, we're going to pick up another yellow. I don't need this, I'm sure, but I'm just going to pick it up and put it in here. We're mainly, again, just pretty much, we'll have to use the occasional shotgun or shell here and there, but we shouldn't really need to shoot it much until the next boss, just a few times. Alright, so there's one ivy, but he's strung up so we can just run by him. Then there's this other one on the floor over here, and if we run quickly we should be able to get by him before he's active enough to try to grab us. Again, very important, because, you know, if they grab you, you're just dead, since you have no defense items. They're one enemy that's easier to deal with shotgun only. You can't kill them, but a shotgun blast to their general like torso area will stun them, so for a couple seconds. Whereas pistol, you actually have to manage to shoot one of their little yellow bulbs, which can be difficult if they're really close to you already. Alright, we'll pick this guy up. There's a blue herb across the way, but I will maybe pick that one up later. Alright, that's first scenario, so, okay, we need to fill this up with solution.
Manual mode engaged.
With, starting with red, and then green, and then just doing blue, red, green 2 more times. And then on second scenario, it's just blue, red, green 3 times in a row. So basically the same as this, except in this one you don't do blue first. And that's the solution to that otherwise kind of pain in the ass liquid puzzle, because that's probably one of the ones that stops people in their tracks the most. Alright, where is this ivy? He is unfortunately in my way. Let's see if I can bait him this way and get him out of my path. Which might be a problem for doing stuff like that, but that up really quick. Last time I got lucky because he literally just kind of fucked off when I came back out there. And I also did just kind of spawn another one a little before when I normally would, so that might be an issue later, but we'll have to deal with it later. Again, I have the means of at least staggering them for a couple seconds if I need to. I would just prefer not to shoot them as much as possible. Alright, we get a few more shells here. 4, I think, and then we're going to immediately use 3 of them on these zombies because I don't want them to be here while I'm dealing with the lickers. So these guys are a necessary shotgun shell sacrifice. Alright, here I'm going to attempt to run by these lickers as they spawn. Last time I did get smacked by this one with the tongue, but okay, we managed this time. Alright, I'm just thinking for 1 second. There's a couple zombies through here. I'm probably potentially going to have to kill maybe, but I'm gonna risk it again and just try and see if I can just avoid them like I did last time. Although last time I didn't quite avoid them. One of them ended up grabbing me because I was in a bad spot. Come over here, pick up this yellow. Immediately pick up the signal modulator and run because there's a zombie coming behind us. Alright, so this guy's not in a good place. We're just trying to get him to lunge. And, you know, he did what he did yesterday. He did the double lunge. I'm assuming he doesn't just always do it. I think it's just, you know... Oh, man, I don't have any good heals for this. I'm just gonna sacrifice the shotgun shell. Not my preference, but, you know, we'll let that go. I am hurt a bit. And I've already mixed these, which was not a good idea. Alright, I'm gonna try and go at caution for a little bit until I can get to the item box. It's maybe a little foolish, but we'll see how it goes. TC Shook, how's it going? I'm doing pretty good. How was your weekend? Alright, so the liquors are in here. They're gonna be like down by the end over here. There's not a great way to aggro them with the little run trick that I did before, so I'm actually going to try and get close enough to get this one to be able to smell me and start coming this way. Hopefully that'll get him to then be in a more favorable position when I come back through. I really don't want them both right there because when you try to sneak by and get over there to use the signal modulator, then they both tend to get in your way. Alright, good. He went up on the wall. That might be okay. Probably not great. Ooh, this is gonna be close. Alright. See if I can get by here without an issue. I'm moving a little slowly too because I'm at caution, which might be a bad thing. We'll see what happens. Hopefully I don't die. Was good, usual stuff, playing Zelda again. Nice. Zelda is fun. Alright, good. He went left, which is what I wanted. Otherwise, when they're both like right here, they just tend to go like both directions around the table at you, and then you can't get by them, and then you're screwed. At least screwed enough that they're gonna aggro when you try to get by them, and then you might die trying to get out of there. Okay, let me just think really quick. I'm not sure there's at least one more definite large gunpowder, but it's not for a while yet, and there'll be other yellows at that point. I'm just gonna stash this guy because we don't need to carry it anyway. Alright, let me find something to heal myself with. Let's see, what do we even have at the moment? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We have 11 full heals, technically. Can mix those later. I'm gonna go ahead and use one first aid spray. Maybe not the best idea, but I don't feel very confident at caution. Alright, now we also got to get back into that freezer room, which it would be nice if I could have done that first, but unfortunately they're just in the way. Oh shit. I didn't even know he was on the ceiling. I was like, where do they go? Hopefully this one's not in a terrible spot. Alright, so the liquors, they're blind. Okay, just commenting on when you said I'm surprised it lets you pass that close. They're completely blind, but they have a very good sense of hearing, or, well, pretty good sense of hearing. If they hear you, then that's what aggroes, so just by running or shooting or whatever, that's gonna aggro them. But they can smell you, they can just only smell you when you get really pretty close.
Who left the freezer open?
There is a gunpowder there, but I have plenty of small gunpowder, so I shouldn't need it.
Cooling complete.
Alright, now we gotta get by them one more time. And we just gotta see what their positions are like, and that's gonna slightly determine which way I'm gonna go. Because if I go If I go right and get by them, I'm gonna be... Nice call, Mark. If I go by them, then there's gonna be the ladder to go up, and then the ivy's there, which I may have to shoot one or two, hopefully not. If I go left, there will be one that spawns on the stairwell, as well as zombies that I didn't kill, which I'm likely gonna have to shoot. So I think I would prefer to go this way. They seem to be in a favorable enough position. Yeah, we should be good. In fact, he didn't even... I was just a couple pixels worth away, enough for him to not even smell me as I went by there. Alright, so now the real issue is there going to be an ivy right at the top of the ladder? If there is, I might just die and have nothing I can do about it. Okay, he's in a not good spot, and actually... I was saying, he's not in a great spot, but the other one moved down, and then they're all actually out of my way, which is great, so that's actually fantastic. We're going to use the freezing solution, or the cold now solution. You love the Resident Evil games? Yeah, me too. I'm really excited to get Resident Evil 3 Remake when it comes out in April. Today we're just doing, as the title says, a shotgun-only challenge, which we've gotten through most of the really tough parts of it. Oh, I should actually pause this while I'm talking here if I'm not going to move, because there is a slight timer going on. But yeah, so we're through most of the really tough stuff, but it's a decent challenge throughout. But yeah, you're not allowed to use any other... If you're going to use the shotgun-only, or do the shotgun-only challenge, you know, the rules that I go by at least, you know, you can't use any other weapons or defense items or anything, so... Alright. I'm going to pick this up. This is going to cause Mr. X to spawn and start chasing us. And then these guys are all going to wake up. I'm going to... I probably didn't need to, but I'm just going to shoot him once to keep him away. He's in my way, so I'm going to have to shoot him too. That's unfortunate. Because I really would prefer to have not shot those both. And then there's going to be another two in here I'm going to have to deal with. Oh, fuck. Alright, that was a massive waste. I hope it won't matter too much. We did lose about 2 extra shells worth of shotgun shells. Because one of the shots, I did shoot the guy, but it was on his side, and it was enough that it didn't stagger him. Usually it still will, but, and then that caused me to not only have to shoot him again, but the other guy was coming out of his stagger, so I had to shoot him one more time. So we unfortunately lost 2, really 3 to that section, because there was one extra Ivy that was in a really unfavorable position, so that's okay. We should still, in theory, have enough for everything left to come if I don't completely screw everything up. I'm gonna have to have pretty precise aim. The first time I did this, I think I only had like 45 shotgun shells or something by the time I got to G3, which was incredibly low. Yeah, so there's a zombie here. I need to try and get by him now. He's gonna do a spin and lunge. I think he did, but it didn't make any noise for some reason. Alright. Open this up so we can get that last hit pouch, which honestly I'm mostly just picking up because, well, it's the last one we're picking up. We didn't technically get all of them. Oh man, you're in a weird spot. Don't... Oh shit. I was hoping maybe I'd get by him, and I was going to say, don't get me, but he did. That's alright. I kind of assumed that would end up happening, so whatever. It's unfortunately one more heal we're going to have to use, but it's not the end of the world. Okay, you know, I went through a number of my... I think by the time I got to Tyrant, with the amount of times I took damage, and maybe got hit once or twice on G3, I'm not sure. I still had a fair few heals left over. Not a ton. I had like 7 or something I could take with me into the fight. For Tyrant, and I think I used like 4 of them. Maybe 5, because I think I think the 5th one that I used was like a regular just green herb and not a full heal, but hoo boy. Alright, getting past the Ivies is nice. They're definitely one of the more annoying parts of the run. We just gotta do this. Last one of these little puzzles. And really quick, I'm just going to use... what am I gonna use? I don't know. You know what, there's an item box on the other side. I'll decide on the way what heal I want to sacrifice to get back up. I was considering just staying at caution and allowing myself to take a hit so that it's less of a waste, you know, to full heal from danger than it is from caution. Which, in theory, will work, although I'm a little concerned that if I take a hit of something a little too hard, I might just die. I mean, we're on standard, so hopefully that won't happen, but... if I get hit by some sort of weird combo from G3, though, I might die anyway, so... I feel like I would rather be more safe than sorry. Oh, good, we got 6. Alright, now we need to get what shotgun shells we can out of what's left. Got one more over here. Okay. Yeah, those are all 3. I still don't know that there is any RNG when it comes to... I've heard that there's definitely RNG when it comes to mixing these things. Ooh, we actually have more ammo? We have 58? That's weird. Yesterday I had 53, and I feel like I did worse with shotgun shells this time. Maybe there was something else I didn't do. Or I just got better RNG. You know, again, I got all 3s there, so... I'm not sure if that's a thing or not. But, we're gonna want at least a few heals for this. I'm gonna go ahead and mix these ones that I can. And alright, I'll take this because it's one lone green herb, and I'll just use that to heal instead. I don't really need anything else. That should be good for heals. If I somehow need more than frickin' 5... oh wait, that's not a... okay, never mind. I can't use that to heal. That's not a full mixture. Alright, if I somehow need more than 5 heals, and I think I'll just go ahead and heal up for G3, then that's, well, that's not so great, but it is what it is. Let's see, what else can I have room for? I'm gonna need... do I actually pick up anything in the fight? There is a first aid in the room, of course. So I don't need anything really now, so whatever. We'll throw in one more of these. Whatever, we'll be overloaded on heals. Who cares? Alright, I believe that's everything to pick up, so on with the show. Again, just skipping the cutscenes for now, since I've already done kind of normal runs through here. I still have to actually do like the hardcore S+ stuff. Frankly, it's not less hard than this or more hard than this necessarily. They're both about the same, for me, level of like stressfulness at least. Oh shit, that fucking missed me, kidding me? We're gonna have to wait for a good opportunity. Oh, here we go. We did take a hit though. I'm gonna play it risky and go with what he's gonna do is charge up. Damn it, I moved right at the last second. Ooh, what was that little close in there, buddy? You kinda skipped a few animations there. Or part of your animation, I should say. Alright, we're not doing very well because we've missed like 3 or 4 shots. My last fight I didn't miss like any. Alright, come on. This fight is going a little on the terrible side. Come on. Just give me a favorable attack cycle, please. Thank you. Go grab something. Nope, not that way. I'm really getting close now. Still got a little ways to go. Hopefully we don't run completely out of ammo. I guess I'll pick that up since I'm right there. It should have hit your eyes, but I guess because of the way cameras work in video games, it did not. Instead hit your hand. Not bad. Got a little framey there. Why am I stuck? I'm gonna blame the game a little bit on that one. Couldn't actually move. Not sure what was happening with the camera just then. Can I even get away from this? I might be in a bad spot here. Alright. It's not going super well. I don't think my recent fights with him have been quite this bad. I'm not sure. I'm just not getting any good attack cycles from him, frankly. There we go. There we go. Alright, that was not too bad, I guess. We have 14 shells left. We don't actually need that many for Tyrant, believe it or not. Yeah, there's no more healing items in here, so I'm gonna go ahead and sacrifice one more first aid spray just to be at full HP. And we move on. I feel like, I mean, 14 is good. I don't remember how many I had last time. I feel like it was like, it probably wasn't 14. It was probably, actually it might have been less, but it was probably a little more. Alright, so we have a ton of heals though, like definitely that I somehow have more than last time, I think. We need to make, we're gonna have to leave 2 spaces empty for the last little thing, but I do have to use probably about 2 shotgun shells getting to the boss because of the IVs that are usually in the way, and again, I can't just let them grab me. So they gotta get shot and kicked out of the way, so to speak. But we're in the home stretch. And then hopefully my dodges today with Tyrant won't be too terribly bad, but even if they are, I've got at least a handful of heals here to use, so that should make things okay if I can just endure it. Pew pew. last easy full heal, and then there'll be one more green herb, I believe, that we can pick up. Goodbye, knife. I wish I could pick you up. You're against the rules. Alright, we already picked up all the heals and stuff out of my item box, so we don't need to stop at that last one. Alright, so the first IV, usually, I think pretty much always he's on the floor, we can just run by him, but then these other two are unfortunately standing, so I'm gonna have to sacrifice a shot each, hopefully no more than one each. Alright, that'll do it. Pick up this guy, we have exactly 2 spaces left, we'll get one more red herb in the room right before the boss, so that's one more full heal then. Instead of having the one little... Maybe I did have a full heal, I don't remember. I was thinking that I ended up with like just one random green herb as well as all the other full heals I had, but I think I had like 7, and I've definitely got more this time. So I guess I did somehow a little bit better this time. I don't feel like I did, but apparently. Either that or I just, I mean, I had to have taken less damage because there's not more heals due to RNG. That much is true. Ammo, on the other hand, I'm not sure. I feel like I somehow did worse, especially in those last couple of, unfortunately, wasted shots, like on those IVs and stuff, earlier, before the G3 fight. And, those ones... I'll let this one play out. Those ones were... I definitely felt like I wasn't going to have as much ammo as I did, and I ended up having 5 more shotgun shells than I did yesterday when I was practicing. So despite feeling like I did worse, I somehow did better, or just got better RNG maybe. That's entirely likely. At least as far as I don't understand entirely how the ammo mixing RNG or whatever works, but alright. How's it going, buddy? Let's do this. So over here now. Nope, okay. I always gotta remember exactly when I need to kind of give him a minute and stuff. Because he'll do his slower wind up. We're still fine, so I'm not gonna heal yet. Do your jump? Okay. I don't want to be too far away from him though, because he'll do his charge instead at some point. Yeah. The quick one is really hard to avoid. Okay, I should have probably been hit there. I don't know why I wasn't. If you do want to do your charge, it's okay to do it now. Because there's these. Alright, here comes the charge. Block for me, please. Thank you. That one was a little unfortunate. I couldn't really squeeze between him and the bar. And that time I just coming with the backswing. This is what I mean. I start off doing okay with dodges, and then I just screw them up like crazy. Oh, buddy. Stop doing the quick one. That one's really hard to avoid. This is why damage reduction is nice. Immediately get put down to danger or anything immediately as soon as he hits us, so it's handy. So this is the dance, basically. You gotta stay close enough that he won't constantly do the charge, since I have a not very good weapon to fight him, to knock him out of the charge with. but not so close that he just constantly hits you with a backswing. And I still manage to screw it up, like, all the time. I got myself into a corner there, that's my own fault. Ooh, I do not like when you do the wake-up swing, buddy. That's uncool. That time I was just a little slow. Oh shit, is he gonna do the charge? No, okay, he was just angry. Just doing an angry roar. I don't know how that one didn't hit me. Just trying to kind of wait out the timer here for the rocket launcher to come down, which should be any time now. We've got 5 shells left. Okay, that's one stagger. There we go. There we got it. And that's pretty much the fight. We have to use the rocket launcher to kill him, like I said, so this is one of the only other exceptions to, you know, the shotgun only rule, because you cannot kill him with anything but this. Alright. Good enough. Took a lot of hits, but, you know, it's not hardcore, so he doesn't take me to danger with every single hit he does, you know. Alright, we are going to switch back to the shotgun, though, for these last handful of zombies, because, you know, I'm still doing shotgun only. Alright, unfortunately, that only got the one guy. Let's see, I'm trying to... These guys are supposed to only have, like, 1 hit point each, so... I just went through instead. Alright, there we actually got 2 in one shot. Gonna have to be good enough. There's one more guy on the other side of the door, I think, so, yep, that's okay. Oh. We got the tackle one. I thought we actually got the lucky one where you just spin out of it. That happens really rarely, but, anyway, well, that's shotgun only. Could have been better or a little more smooth in a few areas, but, that's the game. Now, obviously, this is first scenario, so we're not fighting the true final boss, but as you can see there, I only had 4 shotgun shells at the end. There's pretty much no way for me to fight the final boss with only 4 shotgun shells, so that's why I might test it at some point, but I don't see second scenario working out too well for shotgun only, just because you're not going to have enough ammo left, I think, for the last boss. Even if you don't shoot Tyrant a single time, which you don't technically have to, the timer, even though there's a timer on there and you're trying to, you know, escape the building before the timer runs out, there's a second timer for Tyrant, a hidden one, that is for when the rocket launcher falls, which is like 3 or 4 minutes or something like that. And so instead of him having health, what happens is the more damage you do to him, the faster that hidden timer counts down. So it's going at, let's say, like 100% rate, you know, normal rate, and then if you do a certain amount of damage to him, it can get up to a max, like it caps out at 200%, so it'll go twice as fast.
Just like I said we would.
In which case, it's like either 1.5 minutes or 2 minutes is as short as that fight can be for the rocket launcher to drop. And that's it. But otherwise, you can just wait out the fight if you have lots of healing or are way better at dodging than me. You can literally just dance around him for the entire fight, and not shoot him a single, you know, one single time. Now the one downside, okay, is his charge, which is why you want to stay near him. His charge attack is like a grab. It's an instant kill. If it hits you, you just die. He did it one time in that fight, and you saw I positioned that one boulder between him and me so he would hit it instead of me. If he had done that and I had no other boulder to put in between us, I would have just been dead. Well, unless I could shoot him out of it, which, you know, you can knock him out of it, like stagger him out of it with either having done a little bit of damage to him beforehand and then shooting him kind of in the torso, which if I shot him a few times might have worked, but the shotgun's not great at knocking him out. Or, you know, if you have a magnum, you can just shoot him like once in the heart or torso, general torso area as he's doing his charge, and he'll just get stunned right out of it. Also, a grenade or flashbang will take him out of it instantly too, but otherwise it's a little rough. So I use a similar strategy for pistol only, basically, but yeah, so that's why, like, you don't, this one works okay because you don't have to use a lot of ammo on G2 or Tyrant. You know, technically you can use no ammo on G2, it's just really hard, and just hit him with nothing but the container. But I feel like you should shoot him at least sometimes just to kind of stay in keeping of the theme with the challenge. But yeah, that's pretty much it. It's not overly hard. I don't think it's necessarily harder than a hardcore S+ challenge, with the one exception being the first boss. Like I said, that by far is the biggest hurdle in the entire run. Getting past him, and I'm glad it only took 2 tries. Yesterday in my practice run, I got it first try. I didn't die in the single at all through the whole run. That was great. My first time attempting this, it took me 30 tries to get past the first boss with just the shotgun, because he takes so little damage from the shotgun, and all of your shots have to be perfectly placed, that I just, you'd run around his little arena for, like, I don't know, 15 minutes each time or something trying to kill him. And you'd run out of ammo and be like, well, that's it, that's all for this try, so I'm just gonna die, I guess. That's the only thing that I think makes it harder. Otherwise, Hardcore S+ is effectively just a speed run, but on the hardest difficulty, which is still challenging, but I've done all those before. I just haven't done them on the PC version. So I'll probably plan on doing them on stream at some point. I don't know, maybe even soon. Not today, but yeah, they take a little bit of routing to figure out, and I've done them, like I said, I've done them before on PS4. You get, by completing those, you unlock all of the, like, infinite ammo weapons, like the infinite rocket launcher, the infinite Gatling gun, and those are nice just for, like, I kind of want to do them just for if I want to have, like, a game to play whilst chatting or whatever in normal de-stress. I can run around blowing up zombies with infinite ammo or something whilst talking really easily, at least more easily than when I need to focus on some sort of challenge run like this. But yeah, I would love to do this on hardcore sometime, except like I said, I think shotgun only just isn't going to work on hardcore. You just aren't going to have enough ammo. Pistol only I've done on standard, and that one might work on hardcore. I think it is potentially worth testing, but we'll see. I'm debating whether or not to actually do any of those things, like, for the first time, like, as a test on stream. I think they would be fun, but they might also be a little aggravating to try and get them to work on stream. It might be a little less entertaining to watch. I don't know. Maybe not. But, and then for Claire, I want to do one of these challenge runs for Claire. Her weapons are all different. I'm sure a pistol-only run for Claire works. Just the caveat for her is that instead of having a pistol and a magnum like Leon does, for her, she eventually gets just a upgrade to her normal pistol, which not only allows it to work normally, but it can load 2 different ammo types, in which case the enhanced ammunition works like a magnum, or has basically the same damage as the magnum, so her normal starting pistol with that upgrade turns into both a pistol and a magnum, which would, in my opinion, be a little bit out of keeping of the spirit of the pistol-only challenge for her. So even if you're calling it pistol only or SLS 60 only, I think you would have to say, if you want it to be in the same kind of challenge level, SLS 60 upgrades are fine, but no enhanced ammo. Like, that would probably have to be the rule, I guess. But since I already did a pistol only for Leon, or might do one on stream, I don't necessarily think it would be as much fun to do a pistol only for Claire as well. Or I could do pistol only for her and skip Leon's instead. But one I want to try is grenade launcher only for her, since it's effectively like the same as shotgun only, except ammo's even potentially more scarce. Also, there's 2 different ammo types for the grenade launcher. There's fire or flame rounds and acid rounds, and you can only make acid rounds. You don't find them. And you can only find fire rounds, you can't make them. So you kind of have to use them for specific things. And I don't know. I think it'll be worth trying. I have no idea if it's possible or not. I'm sure that on a number of these, like, they would be possible on the easiest difficulty, but at that point I'm not sure if it's much of a challenge, so I feel like standard is kind of the go-to difficulty for some of these challenges, unless it's like, you know, very feasible on hardcore, just difficult, in which case I'll go for hardcore. But for the weapon only challenges, I'm pretty sure hardcore is pretty much out of the question, unless you were going to do like a magnum only challenge or something like that. But then the difficulty with that is that you would go through even more of the game without having a gun that you can use, which would still be doable. And then when you have the magnum again, you wouldn't be able to use it on like anything except the bosses. And then even still, there's so little ammo in the game, I'm not sure that it would be doable even on standard. Because there's a good amount of it, and you can use it to pretty good effectiveness on bosses, which, by the way, if you're on first scenario, you wouldn't even have the magnum for the first boss. On second scenario, you can get the magnum before the first boss. So you would either have to do it as a B-side or a second scenario run, which would then, of course, include the end boss, which would make things more difficult. Or you basically can't do it, I guess, because now that I think about it, if you don't have a weapon for the first boss, how are you going to get past him? You gotta kill him. Anyway, that's S+ for standard by default since we're well under time, but that's okay. Standard gives you, like, for first scenario, you get something like, I don't know, 7 or 8 hours or some shit like that to actually complete the game with, so it's not hard to get S+, or even just S. S+ is because I didn't save it any times, but that's fine, because we just used a checkpoint, and to be fair, I used that checkpoint once to reload the first boss, so by allowing myself to get killed. Anyway.